In this video, I'm going to have a go at doing my very first abstract. I have no idea what I'm doing, but I do like to have a go at lots of different things, and you never know you like to do it until you actually do it. I'm going to use this size canvas. It's 22" by 18". I had a triple pack. It's actually got 6. I bought 2 of these. So I do intend to do a few. So before we get into it, my name is Jelena Cook. Welcome to my channel. I upload a video every 3 weeks because I have a day job, and I like to have a go at lots of different things, and hopefully one day I might settle into something that I really like. Don't know, I like a lot of things though. Anyway, let's get on with the video. Okay, I'll explain partly what I'm doing, why you watch me speed paint. Well, I'm not speed painting, I actually speeded a video up for you guys. I didn't record like every single thing that I did, but I'm hoping that I showed enough. So I thought I would start off with some open acrylics from Golden. I watered them down a little bit, and I picked a coloured palette and kept with that colour palette, because I think for abstract you choose a colour theory thing and then you go with it. Well, that's what I did anyway. So as you can tell, I've started off with like a purple and a pink. I had no plan at all. I was just throwing the paint on there how I felt like it. And painting how I feel, I'm one of those very sensitive people that cry at weddings, watching a film, reading a book, watching my nieces play when she was little. It's actually most emotionally exhausting. Well, I wanted to paint how I feel in that moment. I do have some close-up shots, me painting the details later on in the video. So I did work on this through different layering. So I did one layer, let it dry, then I went on top of another layer and let that dry, and that's what I did until I was satisfied with what I was getting. So that first layer is already dry, and now I'm going over the top of this first layer. So this is the second layer. So I'm just putting some more, obviously, pinks down and bringing some more of that colour through. Not thinking, or I'm going to do this next. There was none of that. And in fact, it felt like it was like a doodle painting when you start seeing some of the next layers. Because I like to doodle a bit, and I do have a video on how I create my doodles. It's just something relaxing where you don't have to think about anything, just do it. I do use teal in this for part of the background as well. I do play with some spray paints. That was fun. That was quite a nice effect. I used my acrylic inks for the first time. I've had these acrylic inks for quite a few years and I've not used them. Yeah, I know. And it was actually quite nice to get them out and put them on this canvas, and it worked really well. I think I used some iridescent ones in this painting, but it was good fun, and you will see me get those out as well. But I created these 3 large swells in there because I felt like it. Don't know what the mean is at the moment. It just sort of came out of what I wanted to do. Now I'm starting to get those acrylics, those acrylic inks out. But the little pipette there was a bit blocked, so it was like drawing with it, which was fine. Still got it on there in the end, and use a paintbrush to just mush it around a bit as well. and I kept with colours black, white, red, blue. I think we'll see as we go along. Yeah, I know my hair looks a bit wet, but I did just wash my hair. It's not greasy, it's washed. Just so you know. I thought I'd video myself so you can watch me painting it, would it make a change. But there will be some other shots so you can see it a bit closer. And here you can see me using these stencils. I only bought 2 of them and thought give them a go, and I actually bought them for the abstract or others as well. And I was trying to figure out how to get them on there. I was painting them on a bit, wasn't quite working. Later on you'll see me use some tissue and try and dab the paint on there. Didn't think that worked very well either. In the end, the spray paint did the job. Do you know, it actually made a change to do a painting without a reference photo. But you don't know how it's going to turn out though. Because with reference photo you go, painting's going to look roughly like this. But this one is like, I had no idea. I don't know how it's going to turn out. Some doodles, when I'm doodle drawing, turn out really well and some of them don't. So this was a bit of a hit and miss, but I did like it in the end. And when I showed my family and friends, they actually really liked it too. So unless they were just being kind. So when you finish watching the video, you have to leave a comment and let me know what you think about the painting. And you can be honest, I don't mind. I don't know how many people like abstracts and don't, but like I said before, gotta give things a go and see how it works out. I mean, by the time I've done this voiceover for this video, I've actually created 2 more abstracts completely different from each other and from this one as well. So it will be interesting to see that the more I create, how they develop and what I'm going to do with them basically. I actually found this process great fun. And when I finish work, as soon as I come home, I come straight into my art studio and carried on painting. Time flies, you don't know you've been painting for like a couple of hours. Something to be excited about as well, it just makes a change. But while I'm painting this one, I'm already thinking about that I want to paint another one, but I have to stop those thoughts because I need to carry on painting this one and not mix it up with everything else that I'm thinking of, if you know what I mean. Because it's a spur of the moment process. It's having a play. Get your materials out and just play. And that white there, it was actually from Liquitex and it was a white paint. It wasn't the acrylic inks. That was nice and bright. So I think I might have used that a little bit more in the painting as well. You'll probably notice that it looks like on the top left there that I'm painting a face. Well, with me, when I doodle, I tend to put eyes in them. I don't know why. But eyes seems to appear in my doodles. I know I'm calling this a doodle painting because it felt like a doodle painting. Now you can see more. But it's still an abstract. A different type of abstract, I guess. So you can see that I'm putting all these little details on and you just think, well, there's not much on there. But this is just one of the layers. I still put more layers on top of all of this. So some of it I will push back a bit and just mist it over with some paint so you can just see what I'm doing here coming through the next layer. And then some of it I might decide to just scrub some of it out and just paint over the top if I don't like it. And with abstract, it's quite good because you throw it all on there, but then you can manipulate it into the way you like. Like, oh, didn't like that very much. It looks a little bit messy. So you just go over with some more paint. And some of it I did go over by using this technique that I'm using here. It's stippling. And if you've watched any of my other videos, I quite like using this a lot when I'm painting trees. So I decided to get those frayed brushes out and play with stippling on this one because that's what I wanted to do. So I did. And at first it's like, oh, it looks like snow. I did put a little bit of pink stippling in there with the white. You can see me there wearing my new apron. I haven't got any paint on it yet. When I didn't have it, I almost dropped some brushes and got it on my clothes. But now I'm wearing this apron, I haven't dropped any brushes and I've got no paint on it. So as you can see, I'm still using the stippling technique. But what I want to use it for is just to make it travel through the paintings. Instead of it just being in one area, I wanted to travel through and use it as travel as well. And it just sort of faded some of the other areas out and sort of blending it into the painting, some of the doodles that I did, but without actually completely solid painting over everything. It's just nice to see the underpainting through the next layers, and that's the whole point of doing abstract, apparently. And it's actually quite difficult to do an abstract because if you don't show where the people can have their eyes travel through the painting and they're just stuck looking at one area, then I think that might be a fail. And just thought I'd mention the acrylic inks that I used. The brand that I used was the Daily Rowney FW inks. They got quite a lot of good light fastness on those ones. And then some of the other painting that I've done on there, especially with the brush, I used the fluid acrylics from Golden, the new paints that I got myself, and I really like them. You can get some really fine details on there. So this face, well, it looks like a face, but it doesn't need to be. I wasn't really happy with it. I mean, it looks like a bit muddy at the moment, but I do fix it. But I do like what I've done with the eyes area, how it just sort of faded in with the stippling technique. So I'm playing on this different area here, just literally putting brush strokes on, random brush strokes. And later on, just in this area here, I do put some more layers on the top, some spray paint and some other random paintings that I decided to do. And it just gives depth when you put layers in, so, and you can just see the stuff from the previous layers come through, which I think I mentioned before. So at least you've got a close-up, more of a close-up shot of the painting now while I'm doing this bottom area. I still use the stippling down the bottom there, not just white, but some of the other colours that I was using as well. So now you can see the colour palette that I've been using. It did need a bit of black in there just to give it that bit of bold look. And now I'm just painting with a nice blue metallic ink the squiggly lines on these sections here. And at the end of the video, I do give you a view of all over the painting, a closer look at everything and how I felt, and partly the reasons why things landed up the way they look. And this very section that you're watching me painting right now, I was feeling very, very sad. But you will find out at the end of the video more about this as well. So at this point, I was at the stage of the painting where I was trying to get everything to connect. So instead of it all being individual sections, they connect in a way. And it all started to have a bit of meaning as I was working on it. It was very strange how it just happened to be that way. But that's just how it came out. Now, when you're looking at close up at this, I know it looks like afro hair, doesn't it? Which was not my intention at all. I just wanted it to look like this. But it's not meant to be afro, but if you want to think that, then it's fine. And you can actually see that the colour of, well, should we call it a face, has completely changed. Because I didn't like it because it started looking muddy. You just paint over it. That's wonderful. And I did use some spray paint there with my stencils. I thought that looked quite good. Can't get enough of the stippling though. I really do like that. It just gives it a different texture, I guess. Hopefully not too much though. I actually quite like how all the colours work quite well together. I mean, I don't think I used too many different colours. I think it went quite well. Yeah, I know, a little bit more stippling, just a little bit red, just a little bit. I'm just thinking about it. I don't think I actually recorded myself using the spray paint with the stencils. So I think I might promise myself to do that next time. I think I might make sure that I video record the whole process. We'll see. So this bit that I'm painting is with those fluid acrylics. And I'll just use a slightly damp brush. And look at the very fine little lines that I was putting on there. I know they look like roots, but I'm not quite sure what they are. But I just needed to paint them for some reason. And now I'm going to use, these are the open acrylics again that I'm going over this section. I just wanted it to be a little bit misty in this corner, but I didn't want any detail in there. Just needed a bit of, it's called like breathing space. You don't want too much detail all over the place. You do need some breathing space in areas. But yeah, that looks a little bit cloudy and I quite liked that. Blend it in with a dry brush. That's what I'm doing right now. I was very pleased with it. And a lot of dry brush technique going in here, just so you can see, you know, the paint showing through, which is what I'm doing again on this side, which is the bottom left. But not the cloud effect, a very different effect. I'm just, you can see, rubbing it on its side, but I needed it to go in this one direction. I know it looks like that I'm trying to blend this section out, but what I was trying to show is the brush strokes that I was putting in. I wanted them to show as brush strokes by using a very dry brush, but I was just trying to spread them more. But I also liked how this section turned out as well. Da-da-da! I finally finished it. I tell you what I thought was a bit difficult. Like, when do you stop? How do you know it's finished? But because I couldn't really think of anything else to add to it, I felt like it was finished. I am inspired to do another abstract when I have two ideas. So I will try and do another one, but it's not going to look like this. It will look very different. I've already got it pictured in my mind. But what I would do is I will bring you closer to the canvas and let you have a closer look. Okay, so this is a closer look. I'll give you a sweep round on there so you could have a look at some of the detail. I've got some glittery stuff going on there as well. So some stippling and some spray paint on here. I did obviously saw me do some layering. Not bad. I'm quite happy for my first go. So I have this empty space, like a cloudy look. I felt like peace there, but this felt controlling, good and bad. It just appeared, and when I doodle, I felt like I was doodling when I was painting. I always tend to put eyes in my doodle. I don't know why, they always appear. But here I felt confusion. And then I felt happy and fun when I was down in this section here, because it felt like I was doing different sections. And then these swells, it's just like getting bigger and bigger. And then a huge one at the bottom here. And these appeared this month. I felt really sad. Two of my friend passed away. And they're leaving. And they're finding others. And they're going to peace. This did feel like an emotional piece to paint. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time. Bye.